What up, people? Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. It is Wealthy Wednesday. If you are watching the Finance Roll Show, I'm Kamari Ellis. Every Wednesday, we do Wealthy Wednesdays where I answer your questions. I answer them live. All questions about money are on the table, whether it be stocks, taxes, insurance, business, whatever it may be, we talk about it here. Now, I got going a little bit late, so I didn't get a chance to share this out everywhere where I normally would. But it's all good. It's all good. Let's see if I can do it now. Man, you've been on plenty of live sessions before, but okay, that's cool. I'm glad you're here. I guess you've been busy, missing in action for a little bit. But let's see if I can share some of these out real quick while folks are waiting to come into the room. Let's see what we got. So go ahead and throw your questions in. I'm sure people will have questions. They saw the tax updates. They saw some of the new stuff. Stock market hit an all-time high again. So that's not weird, right? It's not weird at all. We've been on a major uptrend for a moment. So now, if anybody's been paying attention, y'all know, man. Let's see here. Can I do that? Oh, there we go. So bear with me for a second, everybody. Bear with me 1 second. It's actually kind of cool. I'm using my new laptop, which is a touchscreen laptop all in one. So it's kind of convenient. All right, you know what? I got a question. I've been getting flack from a lot of folks. Does anybody here like grits? And if you like grits, do you like grits with sugar, or is it just butter, salt, and maybe some pepper? I'm really interested about this because it seems like everybody I know, supposedly know, right, hates sugar in their grits. I know it's random, and I'm just asking the question, but I'm really interested because it seems like people have such stark and hard opinions about this. So I'm really, really curious. By the hood. So I love it. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is what we're about to do, folks. I'm about to share this out in a couple places. So By the Hood is in the building. Shout out to By the Hood. I'm sure that's Jimmy behind the screen there. So Jimmy says, congratulations on your appearance on that award-winning podcast I saw you on yesterday. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. That podcast has got to be in everybody's top 5. It's got to be. So what Jimmy's talking about is I was on the By the Hood podcast yesterday. Courtney Richardson, the Ivy investor, and myself were on that podcast yesterday. And so I had the privilege of hanging out with the superstar all-star team over at By the Hood. And they were kind enough to let me and Courtney hang out because, they have like their whole system, their whole university set up. They've got their own fan club set up. And so they were gracious enough to let me come on and hang out for just a moment. So that's what Jimmy's talking about. All right, so I'm going to share this out in a couple places, and we'll get going with our regularly programmed schedule. Just bear with me 1 second. And it seems like the reason why I asked the question about the grits is because I put something up on my personal Facebook page, and everybody is like going off. It's like you would think folks own stock in Quaker Oats or something, but most of them don't. But it's all good. right. Well, thank you everybody for bearing with me. All right. So let's put that up. Let's get to it. All right, folks. What questions we got? Happy Wednesday. Again, it's Kamari Ellis, Finance Road Show. I got too much going on over here. Too much. All right, there we go. Let's get at it. So, all right, I see Malik's in the building. Jack's in the building. What's up, Jack? How you doing? Shelby Patrice is in the building. Karen, about myself, I think that's what it says. And Quinn, how are you? And let's see who else we got here. I'm good, Malik. I'm good. You know, this week has been rough. The IRS is over here playing games with us, treating us unfairly. I got this stupid eye infection, so I've been wearing my glasses. It actually is going down some. I look like Martin in that episode where he fought Tommy Hearns, because my eye was like all kinds of big old looking stupid, like I got a sucker punch. But I'm here. All is well. So, all right, what questions do y'all have, folks? What questions do you have? What money questions do you have? I'm going to go ahead and get it started. IRS reported today. Tax season is going to be extended yet again. What a travesty. What a disappointment for all us tax folks. Listen, be nice to y'all tax people, y'all. Some of y'all send them some cards, drop them off some food, get them some tips. Y'all do not have any clue at the level of pressure that us tax pros are under at this point. Everything from figuring out what the new tax codes are going to be, how to process them, answering our clients and the public's questions about what's going on with their money. Can't tell you how many STEMI questions I got. So people have been like, Kamar, why do you make so much fun about these STEMIs? Well, I make fun about them because the same thing that makes you laugh can make you cry. So, and these STEMI questions have been making me cry. So I figured I'd turn it into some laughter because a lot of them are funny. So, but a lot of people are having some issues with STEMIs. I've talked to some people who are having their stimulus going to the wrong checking account. Never filed taxes before. And this is for a teenager. Talked to another couple, just had a baby, so their stimulus didn't get included for their baby, but the baby wasn't included on their 2019 tax return. So since it wasn't, you know, these all these issues kind of turn into good teachable moments for everybody, right? So stimulus is only going to count for people that were on your 2019 tax return, maybe your 2020, if you filed it early. But if you had babies on your 2019 children, minors, dependents, as the IRS will call it, and let's say it's you and your wife, so then, and you make less than $150,000, you're only going to get roughly $4,200 in STEMI. And I'm mad that I'm even calling it STEMI. But you're only going to get roughly $4,200, right? If it's just you, you're single, you make less than $75,000 a year, you should expect a $1,400 stimulus check. Don't know when it's going to go. The IRS started sending out payments on Friday of last week. People were getting it over the weekend. Some people got it today. I'm sure some people will get it tomorrow. Some people are going to have them mailed out because the IRS does not have any banking information on the taxpayer. So all of those things are going to happen. All right, so Malik asks, how long does it take to get your return once you filed it and the IRS accepts it? I don't know, to be totally honest. I have a client from last year that returns got filed in November. They're due a tax refund. It's stuck in the errors department because I called up with the client the other day. Guess how long that call was, right? So we don't know. I just talked to another tax accountant earlier today. They filed their tax return last March of 2020. Still have not gotten their tax refund or their tax return process just yet. Listen, people have to remember that the IRS is suffering from COVID just like everybody else. So they're short-staffed and they're under budget also. Now, they were already short-staffed and under budget before, but COVID just makes it even worse. So it's a really, really rough time for everybody. For everybody. All right. No, it doesn't take 3 hours, Malik. It doesn't take 3 hours. All right. So, what questions do y'all have? What questions do y'all have? If not, then I'll just talk about my new and amazing program that I have coming out tomorrow with Courtney, the Ivy Investor, called Unlocking the Tax Code. But if y'all actually have real questions for me, feel free to go ahead and fill them in the chat. I will definitely answer them. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time. Oh my God, yeah. It wasn't quite 3, it was a little over 2. And guess what? I can't really build a client for that time. I mean, I can, but it wouldn't, in my opinion, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. They hit their pockets when all their stuff hasn't been put in. Now, to be actual and factual, my job ends once I submit the tax return to the IRS, and it's accepted by the IRS. A lot of people think I just have this magical code just to go inside one of the biggest federal government agencies and just kind of tell them what to do. That is not the case. That is not the case. You know what, Malik, you asked how long does it take? I had another gentleman year before last, I submitted his tax returns in November of 2018. They didn't get processed until November of 2019. So from November of 2018 to November of 2019, it took them that long to get processed. And this was a gentleman, he was having issues because the IRS was threatening to take his wages, threatening to put a lien on his account, so he's freaking out the whole time. But when you know how to work the system, you know you can put a stop to all that. But again, it took a long time to get some of these things resolved. It took a long time. All right, so Sexy 47 says, do you have to report losses from an investment account? You should. You would want to, because 9 times out of 10, it will become a tax deduction for you. All right, it'll become a tax deduction for you. So, for example, typically, most people are able to write off $3,000 a year in investment losses. If these aren't business losses, but if they're just, straight up, I had an investment account and I lost $3,000. You can write that off. You want to write it off. It will reduce your income and ultimately reduce your tax liability. All right. Absolutely. No problem. All right. So Adam Walker says, my wife is currently not working and she's built up her 401k. Should she roll it over? So I'll tell you what I would do. If my wife was working at a job and she was no longer going back to that job and she had a 401k there, yes, I would roll it over into an IRA. There are some special circumstances when it's not a good idea. There are some 401ks with some employers who do some extra special stuff to give you a little extra bump on your 401k. But 9 times out of 10, if I have left that job, I've been separated from service. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to want to roll that 401k over. It's a tax-free movement or transaction record. You're not actually taking the money out. It's moving from custodian to custodian. So you're moving it from the 401k plan or from qualified plan to qualified plan, rather. You're going to move it from one place that's housing your 401k to another place that's housing your IRA. Now, I have seen people mess that transaction up badly. So I've seen them take the money out, didn't realize what they were doing when they filled out the paperwork. They don't put it back in within 6 months because you have 6 months to put the money back in, and they wind up having to pay tax on it. So you got to be careful. Definitely got to be careful when you do that, because you don't want to wind up with an unnecessary tax bill. Not at all. Not at all. All right, so I asked the question earlier, like, what do y'all think about grits with sugar on it? And so Don says, as a kid, sugar, but not no more. All right, so Don, you were cool with it. You were cool with grits with sugar at one point. All right. Jose said, "What's up going on, Jose? How you doing? What's going on, Jose? I don't know what I just said." All right, so I see a few more people are jumping on IG. BGRT8, how are you? JH Grail, how are you? Foxy KC, how are you? Ajalab. If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. That is not my intention. Brown Beauty 87, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now You're Cooking Kid, welcome, welcome, welcome. Medicine and Mortgages. What's up, lady? What's up, Elizabeth? Thanks for joining us today. All right, if you were on Nana Cozy Ventures, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How was everybody today? All right, so what questions do y'all have? Y'all heard me talk about some of my sob stories this week about tax. You know what? So I'll share a couple other things, a couple other messages I'm sharing with folks. A lot of people are getting scared, right? A lot of people are scared. They don't want to file their tax returns because they feel that they're going to owe a bill to the tax people, to the IRS, to the Internal Revenue Service. So what I've been telling my clients to do is, listen, don't delay filing your taxes. File your taxes. Figure out what it is that you owe. There's always a remedy on the other side once you know. However, if you just float around in the dark, you don't know what the hell's going on. And you lose the ability to plan for something that's a known, if that makes sense. So I have one client, real estate client, made some money. He's a wholesaler. Is afraid to file his taxes because he knows he's going to owe. He hasn't paid any estimated taxes throughout the year. And so now he knows he's going to owe, but he doesn't know what. He also doesn't know what his profit or loss is going to be either. So these are all assumptions and great big old guesses. So I said to him, listen, let's file it. Let's figure out if you actually do have a tax liability, if you owe taxes, and then we will make a plan for that later. It doesn't make sense just to not file it. And you know why? Because I see people that don't file it, and they don't file it for 1 year, and then the next year they don't file it. And that 2 years turns into 3 years, and that 3 years turns into 4 years. I can't tell you how many back tax returns I've had to do over these last couple months because of that reason. All right. So make sure you file your taxes. Make sure you file your taxes. And then if you owe and you can't pay, right, you could always do an installment agreement. There's some other things that you can do. But at the end of the day, just make sure you file. Make sure you file. Hey, Carrie, how are you? Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, I see Wanda has a question. Listen, anybody that has a question, go ahead and throw it in the comments. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. As we all know, the IRS has extended the tax deadline yet again. Yet again, it's going to go to May 17th. May 17th. They originally going to say May 15th, but May 15th is on a Saturday, and you can't have a filing date on a Saturday. All right, so Wanda, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Wanda says, what is the amount you have to report if you received a 1099 DIV? So what is a 1099 DIV? A 1099 DIV is the report of how much dividends you got paid. And it's usually broken into ordinary or qualified. And so, Wanda, you're supposed to report both those numbers. Hopefully you're not using TurboTax to do your own returns. But you should be following both those numbers, whatever they are. But congratulations on being an investor, because that means you got some dividends from a company you own an equity stake in. So congratulations on that. Yes, Jose, there is absolutely a penalty for late filers for 2018 through 2019. So every year that you miss, there is a late filing. Don't ask me what the cost is off the top of my head, because there's a couple of numbers running through my head right now. I'm not sure. I can look it up, but there's a cost. Every time you file late, there's a cost. So if you file late in 2018, you have to pay late for 2018, the late filing fee. Not to mention if you owe money, you have to pay interest and penalties on the amount outstanding. And that roughly adds up to about 5%, 5% per month, up to like a max of 25%. So the excuse me, the IRS really has like loan shark numbers. So they go really, really high, right? So you have a late filing fee for 2018, a late filing fee for 2019, no late filing fee yet for 2020, right? Your late filing fee wouldn't come after you filed after May 17th, 2020. May 17th, 2021, excuse me, because this year is the 2020 filing season. So don't do that. Get your taxes done. Get them done well in advance, folks. Get them done well in advance. All right, let's see. How many years can you backfile? To be in compliance, you need to go back at least 6 years. However, if you've never filed, there is no real statute of limitations. So I would say file your taxes as soon as possible, because you can't do anything with the IRS in terms of negotiation if you are not what they call in compliance. What compliance means is, have you filed your tax returns? So make sure y'all get your taxes in, folks. Make sure y'all get your taxes in, folks. Let's see. I think we got another question. Oh, that was the question Malik already asked me again. How long does it normally take to file to get your taxes filed? Shelby CEO. What's up, Shelby? Yep, so I answered that already. Who knows? Who knows in these day and times? It's crazy out here on these tax rates. It's crazy out here. All right, who else has questions, y'all? Who else has questions? But while we talk about that again, the IRS has extended tax season. It's normally April 15th. It's now going to be May 17th. All right, May 17th. But I always find this interesting, right? Because they did roughly the same thing last year. They announced an extension after the March 15th filing deadline. Now, I know some of y'all are probably like, what do you mean by the March 15th filing deadline? There is a March 15th filing deadline. It just won 2 days ago. That deadline was for partnerships, multi-member LLCs, S corporations, right? So all those people had to file to make sure that they didn't get any penalty. And the penalties for multi-member LLCs and for partnerships and for S corps are a lot heftier than your individual ones. That's why I'm not for everybody getting an LLC or everybody getting an S corp. You got to be ready for it. But we're going to talk about that more tomorrow with Courtney when we do our live masterclass at Unlocking the Tax Code. So let me see something here. But again, I find it interesting that they decided to do this. After that, and they did it 2 years in a row. And so to me, that's like, now we have a pattern. Why would you wait to do that? You had to know. Why not do it before? Why not do it before March 15th? Why all of a sudden did you wait? Give me 1 second. I wanted to see what day they announced it. March 21st. So last year they announced this on March 21st, 2020. 6 days after the March 15th deadline. Why not do it March 1st? They already knew what the income, well, not the income, but the volume are and the delays with the tax code. because last year was very much like this one, except we were actually in the throes of COVID. They didn't delay tax season starting. But I mean, I guess because the shutdown started around March 13th. So maybe it's not as much of a coincidence. Sadika, hope I said your name right. If I didn't, I apologize. All right, so size sexy 47 says I backed, filed 3 years, had a refund, and they kept the money and told me to file an appeal. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. Fuller Pockets, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. That does happen. Okay. LOL. You listen. Yes, listening to you and your crew, I started investing. That's awesome. Trying to see what taxes look like using e-file. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I do have jokes for people that file TurboTax because they always get messed up because they don't read all the questions. And then because they don't want to pay a professional to do it. And this is by no way means a commercial for me. But they also don't want to take the time and do it because they think it's so simple. Now, in my opinion, there are some returns that are really, really simple. But I also recognize I've been doing this for quite many decades. But many times, many people don't see the value in it. So I always find that interesting. So Carrie says, what are the chances of the IRS taking less the amount you owe? Will they take a lump sum payment for less? So it sounds like you've been listening to those commercials, the quote unquote fresh start initiative. If you owe more than $10,000, the IRS has started this new program called the Fresh Start Initiative, and we can wipe out all your tax debt for 50 cents or 25 cents on the dollar. What they don't tell you is, in order to qualify for that program, you basically got to be like super broke, like homeless shelter broke. So yes, sometimes yes, Carrie, sometimes no. It depends. It really depends. Financial anatomy. What's up, Elijah? What's new on the tax world? Let's see. IRS just extended the tax deadline to May 17th. The IRS is still backed up in processing tax returns. The IRS still has over roughly 6 million pieces of unopened mail. So the IRS is backed up. Nothing's moving fast. It's like the rest of the world. Everything's clogged up. COVID is a major drain stopper. Now, once we can get COVID out the way, it'll be like when the bathtub's full of water. You'll start to see those rings of water going down the drain, things getting done and moving forward. But with this whole new strand of COVID, the B117 or whatever that's coming out, sounds like a whole episode of Scandal. I'm a fan of Scandal, so forgive me if none of y'all know what I'm talking about. But in Scandal, there was a whole division of the government called B3613 or B313. I never got the name of it, but basically they were like the highest level of secret government. They would go out whacking people, making things disappear. And so this new COVID strain sounds very much like that. But we will see. We will see. So what other questions we got, folks? I can't stay on too late because I'm preparing for tomorrow's masterclass with Courtney and getting some stuff done, some last minute touches. Let me see here. Let me see. So any other questions? Anybody got any other questions? I'm surprised. No stock market questions. No nothing questions. I got a question for my niece today. And she asked me, I'm thinking about selling Berkshire Hathaway stock or Nike stock. Can any of y'all guess what my response was to that? Anybody guess? Yes, thank you, Medicine. Why am I know your name. Thank you, Elizabeth. B316. So you used to watch Scandal too, then you just told me so. I'm not alone here. All right, so anybody guess what I told my niece when she asked me to sell her stock? Mind you, she's only had it for a couple of months. All right, so Wanda says charitable contribution. Every $1,000 contribution off how much? So I think you're asking for every $1,000 you give to a charitable company or charitable organization, how much will it write off in taxes? Is that what you're asking, Wanda? Mitchell Lovin, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so medicine to mortgages. Why not? I know who you are. Medicine to mortgages says sell some of it. No, I told her she needs to understand the business. Well, and I guess I'm cheating here, right? I said, understand the business. Do you understand the business? Do you understand how Berkshire Hathaway makes money? Do you understand how Nike makes money? And so what I sent her was, I sent her Nike's annual report and the annual shareholder letter. And I asked her, have you read these? And she said, no. And you'll be surprised at how many quote unquote long-term investors don't know what in the world they're investing in, don't know how the company that they invest in makes money. They're only operating off of what they believe is the stock moving up in the short-term future. And I get it. That's the age we are in now. Everything's moving fast. Nobody cares about profits. We can see that from some of our most famous companies these days. But I'm trying to be a good steward, good family member. So I told her to read these things and then let's talk again. All right. Hey, Tiffany. How you doing? Don says, oh, no. All right. So, Wanda, to answer your question, right? So you said, yes, that's what you're asking. It's hard to do it that way because in order to write off your charitable contributions, you have to be doing an itemized deductions, right? So people are like, what the hell is that? So there's a difference. Every taxpayer, right? We're talking about basic human beings now, not companies. But taxpayers get a standard deduction. So they get a certain amount of money that they get to write off their taxes no matter what. So usually for single people, it's about $12,000-ish, 12,200, 12,400, somewhere around there. If you have children, it's 18,000, like 350. If you are married filing jointly, it's around 24,400. And if you are married filing single, it's about the same as single, around that 12,000 mark. So all of those numbers matter. So let's say you're single, you get a standard deduction of $12,400. You could go to church or the synagogue or the mosque or some, you get to your HBCU, some kind of charitable organization, and you do it all the time. So what would happen is in order for your charitable contributions to make sense on your taxes or to get claimed on your taxes, you have to first exceed that $12,400. Because once you exceed that $12,400, you are now doing what's called itemizing your tax deductions. And so when you itemize the tax deductions, you can count your local and state taxes that you paid. You can write off your mortgage interest. You can write off points that you paid on a home purchase. You can write off real estate tax. In some cases, you can write off healthcare expenses. And you can write off your charitable contributions. Again, if you can clear over that 12,400. And then for each one of those brackets, whether it be single, head of household, married, filing jointly, you have to be able to exceed that limit. So it just all depends on what your overall situation is. So it's really hard to give you an answer. I'm sorry, I can't give you like a direct answer. What I would say is Only give money to charitable contributions that you really, really love, that you really, really feel attached to or a relationship with. And then the money just becomes a bonus. So I know people say all the time the rich use charity as a tax write-off and to pimp the taxes. They do to a certain degree. But usually it's something that they are already inclined to do anyway. All right, so Financial Anatomy says, I haven't got this question, but I know it's coming. If someone hasn't filed their 2019 tax return yet, do they qualify to get the 1,400 STEMI check? So, no. What they'll have to do is they'll have to file the rebate recovery credit. I think it's the rebate recovery credit on their 2020 taxes. So if they didn't get it and they qualified for it, so if they didn't get it and they qualified for it, they would file it on their 2020 tax return. All right. Don Johnson says you'll get hit with short term. Yeah. So I'm assuming, Don, you're talking about what I should have told my niece. Yeah, she would get hit, but I don't think she makes enough money to worry about that just yet. But you're right. When you sell stocks that you've owned less than a year, you do have to pay short term capital gains, and they are not nice. They are not nice. All right. Elijah says, I asked because I've been keeping up with the stimulus information lately. Yeah, everybody's been keeping up with the stimulus payment information lately. All right, okay. So Wanda says you owe. I'm trying to get that bill down. Well, Wanda, reach out to me. I can try to walk you through some things. All right, I don't mind that. I ain't gonna do it for free. I'm gonna tell you why. I be wanting to do stuff for free for folks, and I swear to God, every time I do something free for somebody, it winds up costing me money because either I make a mistake or something happens, something gets delayed. But every time I have a really, really good intention of trying to help somebody out, it really fires back on me. So I think I'll stick to delivering the information as much as possible, as often as possible, because I do believe in giving and creating goodwill in community, helping people elevate their financial IQs. But when I try to actually step in and get busy, there's a problem. And I think the universe or God, the spirit world are telling me, no, Kabari, stay back. Don't go towards the light. Stay back. Stay back. All right. So Gary asks, how much does a personal tax preparer cost? I am taking clients, the right clients. Can't take everybody. Everybody just isn't a mix. And I mean, to be totally honest, it's a real personal, intimate thing when you're working with someone. So you gotta have trust, or you should have trust with them. You just gotta see if y'all gel or not. So a tax preparer you can range. It depends. You have some CPAs who charge $400 for a personal tax return. I charge. I start my lowest fee. My lowest fee is at about $250 for individual, just basic. So it again, it really depends. Really depends. Yeah, no. Well, yeah, let's just talk Wanda. But let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. I told her that. That's funny. All right, Gene 215. How you doing? Yep. Oh, so you were all right. All right. See, Elizabeth, we be vibing. We be vibing. All right. So Medicine and Mortgage says, how much LLC profit and how soon do you need to show? Not sure how to answer that question. So how much LLC profit? Is this a multi-member LLC or a single-member LLC? If it's a single-member LLC, your tax return is due on April 15th. And how soon do you need to show? When you say show, again, I like to be technical with these things because sometimes people take my words out of context. So what do you mean? So I would say you should show all your expenses, all your legal expenses, and all your legal income. Joe Brown, how are you, sir? Good evening to you as well. Size Sexy 47 says it's rigged to keep single people from getting a return. That standard deduction goes up every year. Yeah, but it's actually, so I will say this: the last tax, the Tax Jobs and Cut Act, right? Trump Orange Monkey tax code, really benefited the rich, helped the poor a little bit, did really nothing for the middle class. However, I do think some of the standard deduction increases can be a good thing. But now there's a whole other part to that. Again, I don't want to go into, called SALT, which is state and local taxes, which were kind of punitive or kind of bad for all the coastal states or all the Democratic states. But I don't want to go into that because it's a bit more technical. But I do think the higher standard deductions have helped some people, right? Have helped some people. Hope Don't Kim 251, how are you? Justin John, how are you? Mac Mullen, how are you? Procurement Queen, how are you? Okay, so this is a good question. Medicine and Morgan says, how soon do you need to have profit from a single member LLC? No, that's fine. That's fine. So I know a lot of people hear that whole three out of 5 year rule for hobbies, but here's the thing: as long as it's legitimate, right? As long as it's legitimate, as long as you actually are actively in business, you're fine. And you can take losses for a long time, as long as you are actively in business and you have real expenses. Some things take longer than others. Tesla still ain't turned a profit and it's over 10 years old. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll see some people talk about the hobby loss rule, where you'll have, if you have 3 out of the 5 years where you have losses, sometimes they can deem you as a hobby, which is true. That's the guideline. However, if you are able to document and substantiate your business dealings, that won't happen. So I tell people all the time, I when I do a tax return, I do it to ultimately be defended or be defensible, right? Meaning, if I go up to see the IRS auditor, I want to feel like I have a great chance of winning when I sit down with them, period. So I want to have receipts. I want to have journal entries. I want to have it summarized. I want it to be nice and neat. I don't want to have papers with a whole bunch of coffee stains on it. Why? Because appearance, even though I'm not really big on appearance, but when you go before other people, appearance it means something. It absolutely means something. So, all right, how many more questions? I'm not staying on super duper late tonight, y'all. I'm not staying on super duper late tonight. So anybody got any other questions? Any other questions? My pleasure, Elizabeth. My pleasure. Was that your question, or were you just asking for a friend? All right. All right. So listen, everybody knows that me and Courtney have been working on a course. We're doing a whole slew of masterclass, a whole series of masterclasses, one a month, and they are titled Unlocking the Tax Code for Black Entrepreneurs. And so you can find that at unlockingthetaxcode.com. And so me and Courtney, we complain about this stuff every day. We complain about all the social media shenanigans. We complain about people saying, well, they don't teach us about tax in school. And so we said, well, you know what? Well, instead of complaining about the janky folks, we know we do it right. We know we study. We know we do our due diligence. We know we have the experience and the track record to legitimately help folks. And we know a lot of times when people get started in business, they're trying to figure out which way to go. And so every month we are going to be doing a masterclass every month. And so in this first month, we are going to be talking about the power of business structures. You know how everybody says, get your LLC because you can get more tax write-offs, which is a lie. Get your S Corp because it's better than an LLC, which is a lie, right? Get your C Corp, because a C Corp is better than all of them, which is a lie. At the end of the day, it all depends on what your situation is. If you're getting it from the mud, right, like you're super duper broke, but you got an idea and you got some hustle, S Corp probably isn't best for you. LLC probably isn't best for you. It's probably just to be a straight sole proprietor. You out there in the corner, you selling water. I would just worry about getting your money up. That's the first thing. Everybody, if you decide to sell water, if you decide to start making some dinners, you're a sole proprietor. Your social security number gives you the ability to do business. And yeah, as you want to level up and do more business and make more money, yes, some of these other business structures make sense. But again, it's a time and a place for everything under the sun. So it's just like when a child starts to want to get up and pull up and scooch all over the place, and they're looking at, they want to run, but they haven't crawled yet. So again, there's levels to things, there's order to things. You have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to take order steps. So that's why me and Courtney started to do this, because again, we got tired of just complaining about everybody just getting all this bad information. And sadly, our audience are in the Black community, and sadly, we see a lot of bad information rolling out. So if you want some help and some guidance to understand how to start your business, or if you're already in business, how to kind of right the ship with your business, go on over to www.unlockingthetaxcode.com. Our masterclass series, the first one in the series of series, is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, go over to Unlocking the Tax Code, unlockingthetaxcode.com. Register for a class. You're going to get more than your money's worth. Listen, I'm here every week for free. So if I come here every week for free, just imagine what I'm going to deliver when you guys pay us. All right. So if we don't have any more questions tonight, all right. So we don't have any more questions tonight. We're just going to go ahead and close up shop. We're going over to Unlocking the Tax Code. And listen, if you aren't able to make it, share it with somebody who you think could be able to make it, or just needs to know about it. All right, Elizabeth, if you need help with any of that stuff, just hit me up. I mean, we rock out every week, so I'll be more than happy to give you some help and give you some guidance on that. All right, folks. Again, thank you all for being here. I think I see a question before I dash. I think I see a question. Where's my mouse? Here we go. Okay, so Carrie says thank you. Yep, my pleasure. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all being here. Listen, I will be back on Saturday at noon. Let me know what y'all want to talk about on Saturday. All right, taking all suggestions. I haven't forgotten we had to pick back up on the Berkshire Hathaway's shareholders letters, but tax season's been crazy, so I've been trying to make sure my clients are happy with me as well. So again, Wanda and Carrie, if you have any questions, feel free to inbox me, or you can text me. Text me at 215-974-0058. You too, Elizabeth, text me at 215-974-0058. All right, everybody, have a great night, and I will see you all the next time. So long.